Hi guys, this is Sarah, and in this video I want to talk about the anatomy of children. And I am going to kind of like, if you have seen my previous drawing tips videos, this will be a piece of cake. Okay, so for children has common features from babies and from adults. The common feature from babies is that their bodies, or the kids' bodies, haven't developed yet. So they haven't like developed into adult proportions, which is like the adult is 1 over, I guess, is all equivalent to 8 heads from his original head size. Kids, because they're always growing, there is no kind of scientific way to say like this kid is kind of has like certain proportions and this kid has certain proportions. But I guess we can like say that around like kids, okay, I would have to say around the age of 7 to 10 is like the head is equivalent to like, or their body is equivalent to 5 heads. Okay, so another common thing between kids and babies is the fact that the head is kind of bigger than what we see in human in sense of proportions, because human proportions, like in the shoulders is equivalent to heads. For children, the shoulders is going to be like maybe a head and 1 over 3 of the head. So it's kind of around that much. Like the shoulder like just touches with the head. So here we are. This is like our shoulder points right there, if this was the head. So by the way, I'm gonna do this all in stick figures because there is no reason like to draw like the bodies for kids, because it's going to be extremely easy if you have seen my other drawing tips videos. Anyways, why does the head of kids seem to be bigger in proportion compared to adults? That's because when kids are growing up, the thing that develops like with the least speed is, or probably the slowest thing that develops in the human's body as a child, is the head. If you have seen, for example, compare a baby to a 5 or 6 year old, the baby's head is like the baby's body is about 3 sizes of its head. But then if you compare it to a 4-year-old, the 4-year-old maybe like be almost not four sizes of his head. So the head kind of starts to, people like guess they shrink, but they don't shrink. They grow, but with the least amount of speed. So that is why like the whole body is growing and the head is growing at its own speed. So that's why the body is kind of, I have to say, growing and extending. This applies both for males and females before the age of, I guess, the puberty age, because puberty hits around the age of 10, 11, 12, that time. So when puberty hits, the hormones starts to change the way that the body look, and then we get the differences between the male and female body. But I also have to know that female bodies and male bodies have the same basic stick figure structure when they are small, but with type of like smaller proportions. This is what I really have noticed in a lot of mangas and anime. So I'm drawing, for example, this girl, and this is basically like, if we can imagine, this is like the chest barrel, and it's compared like really small compared to the head size. If we are doing like imagine this will be the head size. If we imagine this is the head, for example, and the neck is kind of small as well. This is what I've seen from animes. The stick figure does have the same rules. Like if you are drawing a female, then the hips is bigger than the chest area, but not that like really with the lots of differences. They like, just as you see in this drawing, fairly, I guess, touch in a sense. Limbs also, like arms and legs, seem to be shorter than the normal size of a human. Now again, there's no scientific way to measure up like how this kid's like in proportions like, so this is kind of a general idea. It doesn't actually have to be like 5 heads, it could be like 6 heads or something, but once they've hit puberty, the body itself would be around 8 sizes of the head. So that's basically like, for example, a female body. And of course we know that like before the puberty, the girls are flat chested, and they don't like have they have like always like a little tummy. I have seen that on little kids in real life. They always have like, the kids who are under 5 years old, they always have like very cute little tummy there. So you might draw them like I guess a little bit rounded in some sort of sense, like this. Like if we imagine, if we draw like a 3-year-old kid, baby or something, a toddler, I'm sorry, 3-year-old toddler, something like that. And it also applies as in like the male's body. It's exactly the same way, but with the differences of that the male skeleton, again 1/3 of the head. The chest barrel is a little bit larger from this area, from the hip area, and again they would probably barely touch like so, but you are seeing the difference of drawing, I guess, drawing it, right? So this is basically like a general stick figure. But at least this is like the start of it, and I guess this will really help you in understanding how kids are drawn. Final tips is before I go. Basically, kids. Let's zoom in for. Yeah, that's good. I've seen this in a lot of anime, and I don't know why, but they make the arm kind of thick. Like if you compare it to a baby's hand, it's always like I don't know what you call them, fluffy and puffy. Yeah, puffy. They always make the hand a little bit puffy, so the fingers are kind of puffy and short in some sort of sense. And I don't know why they do it, but it looks really cute. So something like that. They also do the feet the same way, like really like the feet are kind of short and puffy, and again puffy. So yeah, they make it like seem to be like thin and short, but it's kind of how I see it in anime. It might not apply to real life because the real life looks a little bit different than that. They are looking puffy, but they're not as thick as this. They're much like thinner because the skeleton of children are kind of thin because they're small in size and they're still developing. And since I haven't really studied the real anatomy, I cannot exactly, like the real anatomy of kids, I cannot exactly like anatomically show you, but at least this is how I've seen it in animes. And yeah, remember, it doesn't have a certain rule to it. As long as it's under, I guess, 7 heads, you can draw the kids like 5 heads, like their body's 5 heads or 4 heads or 6 heads from the original, I guess, from the original head size. And you don't give them like features like boys won't have exactly like a 7-year-old kid won't have like a buffed body or muscles or anything like that. Just a simple arm and leg, very thin. And girls, of course, are flat-chested. And it all changes after the age of like 13 when puberty starts to hit. So yeah, with that, I will bid you farewell and see you in my next drawing tips video. Alright, see you guys later. Bye bye. Yeah, vad bra det är vi ser och I was snart sen jag lyssnade över det var stad det var the history of the birthday 8 years, 28 years old, and